Many non-Catholic Christians believe Mary was conceived a sinner, but Scripture points in another direction. In fact, Mary is actually not even the first human person created sinless. For someone to believe Mary was a sinner, they have to dismiss clear scriptural evidence to the contrary. First, Mary being sinless is not a stretch for God. Doubters of the Immaculate Conception have to ignore the reality that Adam and Eve were both sinless at their creation. To say otherwise would be to accuse God of imperfection, meaning he made Adam and Eve sinners from the start. Mary is actually the third human person to be created sinless. Second, Mary is clearly the new Eve. From Genesis 3 to John 2 to John 19 to Revelation 12, the use of the word woman is not a coincidence. In Genesis, God the Father signaled the future new Eve in verse 3:15. In John 2, Christ identified Mary as the new Eve upon his debut in public. At the close of his public life, he then did the same in John 19 when he called her woman from the cross. Finally, Revelation shows the woman in heaven. And who wrote Revelation? Well, it was John, the same apostle present at Cana and at the cross. The word woman is not accidental, disrespectful, or neutral. It is a theological title, New Eve. It is notable that within only a few verses, John reveals multiple Marian titles. Luke 1 contains the most compelling evidence. The angel Gabriel appeared to Mary and called her full of grace as a title. Some Bibles translate this as something less than what it says. Luke used a Greek word that describes a completed action in the past with effects continuing into the present. Gabriel used the word implying she had been completely endowed with grace and remained in that condition. Gabriel also used a royal greeting. The word hail was no simple hello. The Greek word was used in greetings to kings, rulers, and other esteemed people. It is exactly the word used in Matthew, Mark, and John during the Passion when the soldiers were with Christ. It was used by Judas on the Mount of Olives when he addressed Christ, Hail, Master. In other words, Gabriel essentially said, Hail, you have been graced. Luke 1 also contains the Magnificat. Mary was saved by God through a prevenient grace. And how do we know this? She said her soul magnified the Lord, and that she rejoices in what he has done for her. She is saying that her soul shows forth God as a result of his action on her. This might possibly be the greatest evidence of the Immaculate Conception, because a soul with original sin cannot magnify God. Some Christians object and say, but Paul said all have sinned. But think about this. The word all does not mean all for all time. In Luke 2, where it says all the world should be enrolled, does anyone really think all means all there? In Matthew 3, where it says John the Baptist went out to all Judea and all the region, does anyone really think all means all there? The list goes on and on and on. Those who say Romans conclusively proves Mary sinned are ignoring both context and the literary use of the word all throughout Scripture. Finally, in the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant had to be pure because it carried the presence of God. Just look at how descriptive God was in its creation. Given Mary is the new Ark of the Covenant, do we really think that God would lack detail with the Ark of his new covenant when he was so detailed with the Ark of his old covenant? So here's the question. With such a body of evidence from Scripture and the early church fathers that Mary was made sinless and given the required purity for the Ark of the old covenant, wouldn't it be logical God prepared Mary the same way to bear his son? Something to think about. This message is sent in charity and fraternity. Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us. The analogy apologetic here. If you found this or any of our videos beneficial, Please hit like and subscribe, and please remember to click the bell too for reminders. Also, don't forget to visit www.analogyapologetics.com for free video resources just like this.